morning everybody and welcome back to another video. I was doing some thinking, and because I haven't got any plans or holiday plans, travel plans until April, which I'll be talking about in another video, probably the one after this one, I thought I would do a bit of reminiscing, and I thought I'd talk about some places that I visited during a cruise. So I am going to talk about my top 5 cruise ports that I visited over the years. Now, all of these ports I have visited once. So this is purely based on the one time I was there, how I felt, what I thought, what I experienced, and just an overall rating. And of course, I plan to go back to all 5 of these places because they are amazing. So number 5 is Helsinki in Finland. So back in 2019 we did a Baltic cruise on Princess Cruises Sapphire Princess. We were there for 2 weeks and we visited 7 Baltic ports. I think it was 7, but all 7 of them were stunning. But I did have a special place in my heart for Helsinki, which was, I think, our penultimate port, second to last, I think. Now, I didn't have any expectations or any thoughts, or I hadn't even done any research about any of the ports that we were going on this cruise, so I didn't really know what I was going in for, what to expect. But then Helsinki was absolutely stunning. I will admit, the first part of the port, when we got off, it was chucking it down with rain, and none of us had umbrellas or even like hoods on our coats. I certainly didn't. So we ended up walking and finding this like coffee shop restaurant, but it had covered, like a covered thing, entrance thing. So we were just stood for about 20 minutes under the entrance deciding what we were going to do, because we wanted to go into the centre of Helsinki, but the cruise port, the actual port where we were docked, you couldn't really walk there. So we thought, well, let's just hide under this covered entrance and then look at what we want to do. So eventually we actually got an Uber. We didn't realise that Ubers were even a thing in Finland. So we got in an Uber and we got taken to what we think was like the most central part, or like the most popular place where lots of people go. So we got out there, and then that's when we decided to actually do things and look around and explore like you should do on a cruise, not stand hiding from the rain waiting for an Uber. We then went into this indoor market, and that was just so buzzing, full of interesting things to buy. You could buy, I mean, it's normal over there but not over here. You could buy reindeer, like meat to eat. My brother got given a piece for free to try before you buy. I can't remember what he said. I don't think he said it was gross, but I don't think he said it was amazing, but he did try it. That was definitely an experience. And we also tried Finnish coffee, which is amazing. It's delicious. It's not like the coffee you get over here. It's like stunning. It's not like really strong. It's like silky smooth, delicious, really, really nice. So the reason why I've put this as number 5 is because of the amazing things you can go and see. We managed to get through quite a lot during our day. After the market, we actually went up to a cathedral and looked around the cathedral. We then went to Helsinki Zoo, which was amazing. It was really, really nice. It was really quiet. I think it was their off season. I mean, it was raining as well. Well, it wasn't like chucking it down at this point. It was, you know, just like spitting, but it wasn't very busy. We basically had the whole zoo to ourselves. We saw like bears, tigers, monkeys. It was really cool. So if you're ever there, I would definitely recommend the zoo. There's like a few ways you can get to it. You can get to it by car, or you can get, it's not on an island, but it's like, it looks like it's on an island because you can get to it by boat as well. I think it's easier getting to it by boat because you have to go a specific way if you're going to it by driving there. But yeah, we got to it by driving. We actually had the same Uber driver 3 times, I think it was 3 times. We were laughing by the end of it because we were like, are you the only Uber driver in Helsinki? But we drove to it there, and then we got the boat back to like the mainland coming back, and it was a great experience. Another reason why we had an amazing day in Helsinki was they have a World Heritage Site there, which is again only accessible via a boat. So we got on a boat, and it's beautiful. It's called a sea fortress, and it was built in the 18th century. That was definitely one of the most stunning things I've seen on a cruise. I mean, a World Heritage Site, it just says what it is on the tin. It's going to be beautiful, it's going to have a lot of history to it, and it's going to be a very popular place for people to go and visit. And it was beautiful. There was so much history behind it. You can go on these beautiful walks. They had a lot of stuff still there from when it was like built in the 18th century. We spent a couple of hours walking around there. There were so many walks you can go on. There was so many things you can read. You could have like an audio book. You can have like leaflets that tell you where specific things are. It was, yeah, it was just a lovely, lovely day. Now, of course, there's so much more to do as well. We like to explore by ourselves, so that's what we did for the majority of ports on this Baltic cruise that we did. So maybe if we did an excursion made by the cruise line, we would have done other things as well. But we felt really lucky that we actually saw the zoo, a cathedral, we tried coffee, reindeer, and we went to the sea fortress all in one day. That it was a fun packed day. So I would definitely recommend doing all those things. I would definitely recommend going on a cruise where one of the ports is Helsinki. It's just an amazing port, even in the rain. Number 4 on my list of top 5 places to visit on a cruise is also another one from my Baltic cruise back in 2019. It is Stockholm in Sweden. Now, I have always wanted to go to Sweden. I'd always been a fan of Sweden, not for the reasons you think, not because of IKEA, although yes, IKEA is probably one of the main things that's come from Sweden, but I've always been a really big fan of the Swedish royals. I think in terms of European royal families, they're definitely the one family that I would say are role models and are using their voice for good and their platform for good and their title for good, and I've always been a huge fan. I watch like videos of them on YouTube. That's not weird. So I was buzzing when we got to visit the royal palaces. We got to like actually walk in places where they've walked. It was amazing. Again, just looking at photos of all the 3 royal weddings that they've had for the 3 kids, and obviously the king and queen as well. It was amazing. And then we watched like almost like a changing of the guard. It was similar to that. I know that's what obviously it's called in the UK. I'm not sure if that's the same thing, but there was some sort of ceremony or performance by all of these guards that we watched, so that was cool. They also have, of course, very popular tourist destinations like the National Museum that they have. We went in there. It was free to go in. I think that's one of the reasons why we went in. But it was really nice. It was really interesting as well. Now, of course, I know what you're all thinking. Charlotte, you haven't mentioned ABBA. And don't you worry, because the first half of this day in Stockholm, myself, my sister and my nana went to the famous ABBA museum, and it was amazing. It was interactive. You could do a performance, you could go into a recording studio and sing, you can dance in front of a green screen, and we did all of that. It was the funniest day, but we had so much fun. And of course, as you all know, the museum is just all about ABBA, their music, all their lives, and of course the films as well, Mamma Mia. They also had like merchandise and props and stuff from the films as well. Now, I'm not like a huge ABBA fan. Like, I like the music, but I'm not really that bothered about ABBA. But when we went there, it was just the funnest day. Like, oh my god, we had so much fun. It was really good. And we went there, we got there by Uber as well. They have Ubers in Sweden. I don't know why I didn't think that they would have Ubers in like other European countries. but they do. I just thought European countries have those e-scooters all the time and that's it. They don't have Ubers. They had loads of those e-scooters, which I went on one for about 2 seconds and I nearly died. So I don't recommend going on those. Just get an Uber. And then to top it off, now I don't know if this happens to a lot of English people in Sweden, but we went to this restaurant which had only opened, I think, in the last couple of months. It was quite busy, but we were obviously the only English people in there. We ate the food. We were getting a lot of attention from other people in other diners in the restaurant to the staff, talking about where we're from, what we're doing here, just our lives. It's like we were on a chat show. And then the best thing probably in the whole cruise was this moment. We paid and then we got up to leave the restaurant and we got a standing ovation from everyone in the restaurant and the staff. They were clapping as we were leaving, like they were like, "Wait, thank you, thank you," and then everyone else started clapping and then people were standing up. It was the funniest thing that's probably ever happened on a cruise. We don't know what, we still, to this day, we still don't know why they did it. I'm thinking maybe we were the first English people to dine at their restaurant. So it's not a thing that happens to everyone when they go and visit Sweden if they're English. Because usually people don't like English people. But yeah. They loved us, they were chatting to us, wouldn't really leave us alone even while we were eating. And yeah, thank you very much for clapping us and you know, giving us a standing ovation as we left your restaurant. So of course I would want to visit Stockholm again and of course do the palaces again. I want to go back to the museum and just do more interactive things because that was really fun. And of course go back to the restaurant where I literally felt like a celebrity. And then number 3 on my list is Bridgetown in Barbados. Now, as you know, we recently went there on our Caribbean cruise in November. It was a beautiful place. Where we spent the day, I think is a very well-known place. Well, to the people there, it seemed that it was well known because they had like a separate pricing list for people on cruise ships. So I think it was a very well-known place that people from cruises spend the day there. But we went to the boatyard, which it's basically this secluded area of the beach, and you pay a certain amount, you pay a fee to go in, a certain amount, like one set of fee, and you get a lot of stuff included. You get a private beach, you get fun like stuff in the water, so you've got a trampoline, you've got a slide, you've got all sorts of stuff that you can just go on if you wanted to. You've got like a rope swing that goes off this like thing that you can walk down, almost like a pier. You get an umbrella, chairs, you can get one free drink, but then you have to pay for any additional drinks and food. But you also get included a snorkel, like a free snorkel trip where you can go and see like you can go see a shipwreck. I know I didn't go because I was snorkeled out from the 2 weeks before, but you can see like a shipwreck, you can see I think stingrays, all sorts of things. But all of that is included in, like, I think it was like $30 we paid. And there was no like you have to be out by this time. You go in, pay the fee, and then you can spend the whole day there. We spent, I think we got there at like 10 or half 9 and we're there until about 5, 6 o'clock because it was getting like sunset and we were like, oh, we should probably leave now and go back to the ship. But oh god, it was such a great day there. And it was like white sand that you see advertised everywhere. The water was so clear. There was like fish in the water, which you could literally see because it was so clear. It was just a lovely day and we have some great memories from that day. So that's why I put it on my list as number 3. Barbados was actually the beginning and end of our cruise as well. So it was some great memories of flying in, seeing the ship from when we were in in the sky on the plane, arriving there with like people with steel drums like welcoming us on board on that first day as well. So not only because of the boatyard that we went to on the last day, also because we had some amazing memories coming in on the start of our holiday. And then making our way to number 2 is Porto in Portugal. Now when we went on this cruise, this was again last year, I think nearly a year ago, we went in June last year. This was one of the ports that we thought, oh, we're not really going to be bothered about this. We have no clue where Porto is, what's there, what we can do. It was sort of we're not really going to care what to do when we get off. We're just going to roam and then probably have like an hour there and get back on board. It was a complete opposite. It's one of the nicest ports I've ever been to in my whole life. And I had no idea it was there. Like I had no idea that Porto was a place. Like, no idea. Like the scenery, oh my god, like the bridge, there's like a river going down. It was stunning. Oh my god, everything about that port was beautiful. Like the atmosphere, walking down like what we call the promenade was beautiful. Now we had been informed about this bridge that we walk across, so we got off thinking, oh, we'll just go across this bridge and then we'll go back on board. And we still did that was still our aim, but we saw, because there was so much atmosphere, there was like food and drink places, there was a market, there were these stalls that you can get like little bits to take home, like souvenirs, and there was the cable cars which took you up and down where you can actually access the bridge. So we started off by going up the cable car, and on the cable car you got an amazing view of the actual river and of the bridge as you go up to it. It was beautiful. To me, it reminded me of somewhere in Italy. Even though I've never been to Italy, just looking at the photos of Italy, it just reminded me of like, this would be what Italy's like. I still don't know. I haven't been there. But yeah, it just, how it looked, it was just stunning. The cable car as well was cheap. It was, I think, €9 return. And we got a photo. They took a photo of us in the car just as it was moving us to go up. That was €10, I think, which is again really cheap if you think about how much those types of photos usually cost. But yeah, I think that was really cheap. We had a lovely time walking across the bridge, and then across the bridge there was loads of beautiful places. We went into this church, we went into this museum. It was beautiful. I did feel a bit bad though, because I don't really know much history about anything. I mean, this goes for any place I go. I don't think I appreciate it enough because I don't know enough about the places. But everything I saw was beautiful. And something I want to do next time I go there is do a boat trip down the river, because you can purchase tickets and go on a boat trip up and down. We didn't do that because we obviously were limited in terms of time. But we did have an amazing time nonetheless. It was a beautiful port, definitely one of the best places I've been. And number 1 on my list is again a port that we went to in the Caribbean very recently. It is Willemstad in Curacao. Now the first thing I will say about Curacao is, because it is Dutch owned, it did feel like I was there. It felt like Amsterdam, to be quite honest with you. But it was very vibrant, it was very just energetic, it was stunning. There were palm trees, everything just felt so happy and eccentric, but in a good way. There was music playing, there was dancing everywhere, everything was just so, you just wanted to like move with them. It was amazing. So our port day in Curacao was sort of split into 2. So we went first down to the Queen Emma Bridge, which is the famous floating bridge that we walked across. And at that point it was scorching hot. I mean, it was the Caribbean, but there was literally no cloud. It was just pure sun on your face and your head. And for someone that's basically ginger, doesn't really go to plan. But that first half was amazing. We sort of walked around, took photos, looked at all the history. They had that, so I think they have it in Paris as well. They have that like padlock love like bridge thing, or where you just put padlocks on and put your initials. I'm single, so no need for that. And then we decided to walk back, and then we thought, well, because the weather's literally like amazing, we thought, well, let's now spend the rest of the day at a beach somewhere. So we got some advice from other people, we got some advice from locals, and they said if you're wanting somewhere quiet, go to a resort called Blue Bay, which we did. And Blue Bay was stunning. Oh my god, it was amazing. I just felt like that's what I'd imagine the Caribbean to look like, and it was exactly what it was. It was, oh, it was stunning. Palm trees, the like umbrellas that weren't like the cheap plastic umbrellas. Everything was just stunning, and you just had like lizards and geckos and stuff walking around you. Luckily they didn't go near me. We stayed there, I think we stayed there like 3 or 4 hours. It was $12 to have the chairs. It was $12 per person, and then you can have like an umbrella, chair, whatever you needed for the amount of time that you're there for. And then you could use their facilities, use their toilet, showers. You can get food and drink from the bar as well, and they come to you with the stuff, with the orders, which saved a lot of time. And it was only about 20 minutes drive as well from the port. We were told that a lot of people went to the popular like public beaches, and I think we were glad that we decided not to do that, because where we went, it was quiet. There were people there, but there were sunbeds there, and there was always availability, even when we had people coming in after us. It was, yeah, it was just quaint, quiet, but you can just walk down into the beach, and it wasn't rough or anything. There were rocks there, but you can still walk in, and it was good for snorkeling as well. There was a lot of fish around your legs. So yeah, it was the whole day, just the whole day in Curacao was amazing, and it's definitely because of that my favourite port that I've ever been on a cruise. And I just want to say as well, I do feel incredibly lucky that I've been able to visit all of these ports. And this is not a way of saying that I don't appreciate any of the other ports that I've been to. All of them have been lovely, really, really nice places to visit. I just feel like those 5 have a special place in my heart due to the things that we did, or being clapped, you know, people clapping at us when we walked out of a restaurant. So yeah, just things like that just have memories in my head that just make me smile. And yeah, I do feel blessed and very fortunate to be able to share these things with you, because I had an amazing time and I want everyone else to as well. I also said in the beginning of this video I have got plans starting in April and then the rest of the year. So my next video will probably be about my upcoming plans and what I've got booked and what I'm doing, so I can let you all in on what vlogs you're going to be seeing soon. So I'm really excited for that. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about any of these 5 places or any other ports that I've visited, or if you've got any advice for me on any ports that I haven't visited, please let me know. But of course, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!